Whether you are a staff member, a leader, or a volunteer of a kids, students, or family ministry program, I wanted to take a couple minutes to offer you some encouragement. I know that we have endured a couple months of physical isolation, and churches have moved their ministry from their church buildings into homes in this season. And for many leaders, you have been stretched and challenged, and leaders are feeling worn out. And now with conversations about reopening buildings, there is this tension in the conversation between how do we minister to kids and students and families, but also how do we keep safety as the number one priority, the way that it always has been. And there is just this tension. And you might be feeling discouraged or just tired and worn out. I heard from one leader who said, I'm struggling to not let myself feel hopeless because in our area, we're still not allowed to leave our homes and I don't see an end in sight. I wanted to offer you some encouragement. I remember a few years ago, I was leading at the time at a brand new state-of-the-art broadcast facility. There was about 120 volunteers on the kids ministry team, and we were ministering to a couple hundred kids at that location every single weekend. I happened to be sitting inside the main auditorium, worshiping and listening to service, when in a matter of a minute or two, the power slowly flickered, and then all of a sudden, all of the power was out. Microphones and screens and lights, air conditioning, everything was out. So I hustled back to the kids area, very concerned about what I was going to walk into and see. We had not had a training in our brand new facility for what we should do if all of the lights and all of the technology and the air conditioning all of a sudden go out. And so picturing all of these volunteers and all of these kids in darkness, it had me concerned. And so I walked back there and I started going room to room, checking on the team and checking on kids. And I was overwhelmed at what I found. Everybody was okay. We didn't have a bunch of kids crying or afraid. The team had adapted. For many of them, they had quickly realized, let's turn on the flashlights on our cell phone. And you know what? We were going to watch the Bible story video. Instead of that, let me grab the children's Bible and we're going to tell the story just from the Bible. And we're going to get really, really close so everybody can see the pictures. And we're going to keep going. In the elementary area, if you can even believe it, I peered in and saw 100% engagement. 100. That's virtually unheard of when you put a bunch of elementary students in one environment. Even more unheard of when you talk about that number being 50 or 60 elementary students in one environment. But you see, even with everything that we were used to and familiar with stripped away, and in the absence of there being a very clear, concise set of steps that had been outlined for the team to follow, in the absence of all of that, God was still there. And He showed up. He cares more about the kids and the families that we minister to than even we do. And we are only ordinary people, but we serve an extraordinary God. I want to challenge you in this season as you're feeling worn out and you're feeling some stress and pressure and that tension between the conversations and the decisions that need to be made, to just keep showing up, giving your very best. Do everything that you can do, but then trust God to do what only He can do. He will show up. If I can be an encouragement to you in any way, or maybe I have some resources that would benefit you as you lead or benefit your team of volunteers or families, please go to my website, www.heathereichler.com. Feel free to send me an email if I can be a personal connection point or support for you or your team. And remember, we are only ordinary, but we serve an extraordinary God.